Okay. We finally got this thing working. Technical difficulties, unfortunately, so we couldn't go live, but we still gonna record for everybody. How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good. I mean, we just, passed Mother's Day. I myself am a mother, so
Mhm.
I got to enjoy absolutely nothing because my daughter ended up with strep throat. So, so that
I
was
hear you.
my Mother's Day.
Is she feeling better now?
Yeah, she's feeling better now. Thankfully, no more fever, no more craziness.
What's up, Dad Panther?
Everything all right over here.
Okay,
Everything
I
all
see.
right.
Got your nice setup, man. Got your
Oh,
vibe.
I'm trying.
That's what it
Trying
is.
to I'm
That's
trying
what
to
it
keep up
is.
with you. I'm trying to keep up with you back there.
I'm just still trying.
You look like room 112 over there. I'm just saying.
That was good.
All right, so I want to
Go
warn
ahead
you
on the
guys.
waterfall.
Oh yeah, that's what I need now. See, she keep giving me ideas. Next thing you know, y'all gonna see something crazy, and it's gonna be taking my camera all out of focus and stuff.
So is that a waterfall in the
Right?
background?
Everybody, nobody's listening to me. I could be saying like the most epic review there is, and then people be like, "Look at
So
that! I think that's a
velvety.
waterfall." Yeah, it is. So I gotta warn you guys. Number one, let's shout out to JS1. He's traveling for a family member's graduation, which is a lot more positive than what I thought it was, so that's good. And he may jump in, he may not, but shout out to him. If he can't make it, we're gonna represent him. But since I have the helm, I'm gonna play around a little bit. We're gonna change up some stuff. And I want y'all to just work with me here and just flow in. But I'm warning y'all, the format's gonna be a little different. So next up, let's just go ahead and get into the retro.
One day they'll tell a story, and some will say it was just a fairy tale about a human that came from the stars and changed our world.
In a world where freedom is history.
Where am I? What is this place?
Get them out and get them clean!
Brutality is law.
Rise when your master enters.
All right. We don't want YouTube to block us, yeah. But I can tell you guys that trailer was one of hundreds that in that vibe. It just did not fit the movie, but that is what they gave us back then when they were trying to sell us on the 2001 Planet of the Apes. So for those of you guys who don't know the plot of that story, it was it's actually supposed to be in the year 2029. I love how back in the days they thought that these years we were just gonna be flying on everything, doing all kind of crazy stuff. But Mark Wahlberg plays an Air Force astronaut that ends up landing on this evolved planet where he realizes that the apes are dominant, and he's trying to get back, and it's this interesting adventure. All right, and it basically came out in 2001, directed by Tim Burton, and it had a few actors in there. People that are pretty big. Tim Roth. They also had Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace. Who else did I have in there? Oh, it had your boy Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti actually played a pretty big part in there. It was a lot of big name people in there jumping on the Tim Burton bandwagon. So initial impressions. Who would like to start with their initial impressions when you saw the trailer or heard about it back then?
So I guess I'll start.
All right.
So initially when I first saw the trailer back then, I was actually it made it seem so exciting and so like action packed, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Tim Burton, yes, Nightmare Before Christmas, man, he's gonna do a great job.
And that was the initial impression.
And that was
Okay.
the initial impression.
How about you, Dad Panther? What was your initial impression?
You had me at space, taking a remake and put another spin on it. Tim Burton, the flashy name. So I was excited. 2001, I was excited.
I have to say the same. I wasn't actually interested in the remake, but Tim Burton's spin on it made me intrigued to want to go see it. But I wasn't really too excited about it. But Tim Burton's name did get me in. It wasn't any Mark Wahlberg or anything else about it at the time. But yeah. All right. So,
Marky
Dad,
Mark.
Dad Panther, why don't we start with you with your highs and lows, please, sir?
I want to say the highs of it was I want to say how they create the apes. Like we're watching that technology grow from the 70s movies that we had in the past. So seeing that technology was pretty cool. The music was good. And whenever you talk about the look or CG and then you go into the music, it can't be good. That's the only thing that's good about this. I'll give you a bonus of 2001. I'm graduating out of high school. If you're in that age range, it's nostalgic to be like going to the movies where you dating, like what was going on. That's it. The lows of this movie was the crash. Like you hear a lot of movies, like action movies, and that's kind of how they pumped this to be. It's as soon as the ride starts, you're locked in and you're ready to go. As soon as this motherfucker crashes in the water, it's a fucking train wreck. The script makes no sense. The story is crap. It's Mark. It's not one of his best acting things. Whatever. Go back to Transformers or doing something else, selling burgers, but it didn't fucking hit. So I would say that's the reason why they don't talk about this and the other ones as they move across. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. All right. So tell me how you feel about it. Highs and lows.
So highs. I want to say the movie ended. That was my biggest high.
Ah.
Um Now, after that, my second and third biggest high of the movie is that I did have to give it props for like the scenery, some scenes like how they were filmed, I really really love um when science fiction movies like this that you really see the dedication and the art in like how they do the faces, how they put all the apes together. Like I love that type of work. I love makeup, but like stage and like that deep amazing like makeup techniques that they do, being able to manipulate that the wax to make it look like it's really their face. And so I love that dedication to detail. The costumes I thought were great. um and to be honest, like with the way some of the actors were, like the way they carried themselves, like it felt like you were really seeing an ape humanoid type creature. Like some of them did such a great job with being able to carry their bodies like that and things like that. Like me being hunched over, my back would hurt like for hours like that. Damn. But I really like that attention to detail when it came to that. The scenery, being in the jungle, them being able to mix somewhat of that animalistic, but then also civilized combination for the apes. Um, I really, really liked that. Um, Now, when it comes to lows, I have to agree the storyline was garbage. I don't like the route Tim took with this movie. I really don't like the end scene. Like when you see Mark flying in space and you're like, yay, he's gonna get away. And then all of a sudden he ends up on Earth, but everyone's an ape. Like, how does that connect? Like, where did that come from? It's not explained. Like the ending isn't really explained with that scene. Like where the hell did that come from? Um, so it's like the storyline went from, oh, he's on an alternate planet, not Earth, but totally different world where things are opposite. And then all of a sudden you're going back home to your world, but it's not your world anymore. Like it's yeah, that was garbage. That was horrible. And for me, Mark Mark is too much of a northerner. Like that accent is so thick. It's so thick. Like you could tell, like, son, you're from Boston. We can all tell. Like there's no, and I don't know. I feel like his Bostonness like didn't mesh with the movie. I don't know. It was weird. Like you're throwing someone from the projects in the jungle. Woo, like the fuck. That's the vibe I got with his character. Like I was like, no, this doesn't work. I think I spent more time laughing at
Mm.
some of the horribleness of the movie than really saying like, oh wow, this is going up there with the rest of the greats that Tim Burton has done. No, this was trash. He did a horrible job with this movie. And yeah, those are my impressions of this movie. My highs and
All
my
right.
lows.
I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that at all. I do want to say though, I do think that the reason you got the ending you got is because in the beginning when he went after his ape and went through that
Mhm.
storm, he ended up in just the whole universe completely and never got back to our universe. So he got back to an Earth, but it was still back. It was still in another universe. You know what I'm saying? So he never actually that thing. He's like you can't control when you're out there in that space where you're gonna end up. And I just think he just ended up still in another universe, and that's why that Earth was full of apes. But it doesn't make it any better. You're right. So
Yeah, I just thought it was wild. Like, is that supposed to be the same planet but in the future? Or is this a totally different, like, parallel universe? Like,
I think I
I
want to
just
say parallel just because of how they treated the beginning with the storm, and he just never got back to our universe, in my opinion. But I mean, that's part of the problem I also have is just that it was too easy. There was not enough creativity, in my opinion. As highs for me, I would say is I respect the fact that Tim Burton was trying to pay homage to the original with the makeup and everything.
Mhm.
Viewers at that time weren't ready for full CG. CG also wasn't at a great point. You remember when The Rock played the Scorpion King, and they had him all CG. And I don't. I think if I brought that up in front of him, he'd probably kill me now because that was embarrassing. So, and you guys let me know if my mic is peaking, if it's too loud or whatever. But so I feel like CG wasn't at a point where they were ready to fully trust it. Plus, everybody was still all about practical effects and stuff, and so I understood why he went there, but it bothered me. I felt there was a lot of inconsistency, and I was watching it back then. It bothered me. I couldn't tell you why, but as I've become more experienced trying to do film, what bothered me the most is that the people who had lines, their makeup was not as ape-like, so they could speak, and then they kind of end up looking like a mixture of cats and apes. Okay,
Really? I think of it
yeah, but
I'm so glad you said that because I was saving that to the like
Cats.
there was one lady, great fashion, but it looked like a mixture of cats and Michael Jackson. And I'm like, yo, this is really fucking bad.
it was weird, right? But then those who didn't have lines, they looked more like apes, and they were running around doing it. So it was like that imbalance of those who they were going to give lines to. They kind of, and then they had makeup and everything, and I wasn't really feeling that. And some of the some of that the ape gestures and the things I don't know and the politics, it was just really taking me out. Back then in 2001, when I met the Dad Panther, we were working at Crown Theater. Shout out to Crown Theaters. Um, we were working. I fell asleep in that movie, and fortunately back then I didn't snore, so nobody knew that. So when I walked out and everybody around me was acting like it was so great, I just rolled with it because I didn't want to be that guy. But I didn't like it then. I fell asleep and I woke up at the end of the big battle, and saw him get to the other planet. And then as I was watching it this week, it happened again. I did not. I still don't know what happened in the middle. I fell asleep. I fell asleep after they destroyed the gun and acting like he said we need that. It was like, well, you could turn on us. We were like, bro. And I was looking at it like, I don't know if I could do this. Next thing you know, I wake up, it's credits. I'm like, man,
Damn, I
all these
couldn't.
years later.
And Wifey wasn't there with you to at least be like, wake up, wake
See,
up.
I think she knew this movie wasn't worth it Because normally she would
Great
wake me up
memory.
like, hey, you're not gonna want to miss this, or should I turn it off and we catch up later? But I think she knew it wasn't worth it because she didn't even
Next time we
try and
just
wake me up on that one.
let him
Yeah.
sleep. Fuck.
And then also the set itself, there was a lot of stuff I was seeing, as they're running through the jungle. There was some times where you could see the tarp and some of the wires from the shots and stuff they were doing and the wire line work. But that's me as a filmmaker. I was seeing all the stuff, and it really bothered me how these people were supposed to be, um, you know, living out off the wild, and they were so clean. They were pristine. They were beautiful. None of them were dirty or had any smudges. They run around the woods. They live out there in the dirt. They get treated like, say, they work hard. But that girl who was right there, she was glowing, and then her family glowing. Everybody was just beautiful. And so that bothered me as well. But anyway, I could go on and on about it. But as it's clear what my rating is because I fell asleep on it. But let's go ahead and rate this thing. So I'm gonna start with you, Iris. Is it a classic, good watch, catch on streaming? Not doing it for me? Oh hell no! Or if you ever show me this again, I will slap you.
I'm gonna give it a oh hell nah.
That's a lot nicer than I thought you was gonna give it.
Because it was garbage. I mean, basically everything that I kind of liked, you basically was like, nah, makeup was garbage, costumes was garbage, scenery was garbage. And those were actually the things that I actually liked about it.
I got you. I
Um,
got you.
but I mean, it just speaks a lot because if it really was that garbage and that's the only thing that I found that was good, then the movie really was garbage.
Mm. So how about you, Dad Panther? Are you ready to rate this thing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you in suspense. If you ever show this again, it's like I'll
He can't even
set
get the
you
words out.
back.
He's so upset.
Set you back to the Stone Age. It just, again, with this movie, one of the things about it is they call chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, they call them all monkeys in the whole fucking movie. They didn't have anybody who was in the science and biology and be like, those are apes, right? So every time you say monkey, you're fucking this up. So again, you got characters that look like Michael Jackson and they're not even talking properly scientifically. Fuck this movie.
Scientifically.
I should have got in the core or whatever Boston people say.
It's
So
car. They say
Gosh,
car.
get in the
There you go.
car.
Get in
There
the
you go.
car.
Well, it depends on what universe you're in, I guess. So
Oh.
So what are you gonna rate it?
no, honestly, because it put me to sleep, even after 20 plus years, I have to give it. If you ever show me this again,
I was like,
seriously, like,
Can you imagine if you came out with the director's cut of this? It's like the Eddie Lingo director's cut, and it's the movie, and it just blanks out. And it comes back in the credit. You're like, what the hell happened? It's the 20th anniversary. No, this is what Lingo saw. He
is what
saw
I
this.
That's that's the version. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I bet you get a higher rating.
You're like, hey, it was short. It got to the point. I loved it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and tap into our Black Excellence in Film shout out. Let's go ahead and get that started.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
All right, Iris, take it away.
Yes, yes. So today for our Black Excellence in Films, we are giving a shout out to Paul Robeson. He was born April 9th, 1898. Whew, he was born way back when. And then died January 23rd, 1976. He was an American bass baritone concert artist, actor, professional football player, activist who became famous both for his cultural accomplishments and his political stances throughout his career. Amazingly, he did receive 4 awards, one in 1998 for a Grammy, 1984 Winter Hall of Fame for the NAACP, in 1972 an Image Award from the NAACP, and in 1978 the Winter Star on the Walk of Fame. Fun fact about this gentleman, though, even though he was more prominent through the 20s and the 50s, I would say, with his movies, he did unfortunately suffered a lot of controversy with voicing his support with Stalin's views, and even lost his passport for being accused of being a part of the Communist Party.
Mm.
Mm. That's the wrong list to be on.
Yeah, no, sure is. You can't even leave the country. We don't believe you. You
Mm.
communist. Nope, you can't fly nowhere, bruh.
Yeah, people know how to get themselves canceled even way back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, lost your passport. That's a serious cancellation.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so let's keep it moving. We're gonna hit you guys with a 60 and out, and I actually want to talk to you guys a little bit about this after we watch it. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is Movie Lingo with another 60 and out on the film Knox Goes Away. This is directed by Michael Keaton, also starring Michael Keaton and Al Pacino. In this psychological thriller, Michael Keaton plays a contract killer that's suffering from a rapidly evolving dementia, and he chooses to use his last days to redeem himself with his estranged son. This film was a beautifully executed slow burn with tight writing, nice layered plot twist. Michael Keaton's acting is phenomenal to the point that you actually feel like you're experiencing the dementia yourself. He does a great job of pulling you in, getting you lost, and in the same conversation making you feel like it's all a part of this big plan. The way the story unfolds, it leads you to a point where you believe you know exactly where it's headed, but what you can't guess is how it's going to get to that point. This film caught me off guard and ended up being one of the better watches of 2024. My rating for this is actually a classic, and I really believe that everybody should give it a shot. It is available on Amazon Prime to rent and to purchase. This is Movie Lingo with another Real Reviews, 60 and out, and we'll see you on the next one. Yes, that movie was phenomenal.
And why did it go straight to rental?
It didn't actually. It had limited release back in March. And I tried to go catch it, and by the time it was out for 1 week, but by the time I was wanting to go see it, it was in a theater that was too far away. Then when I finally got my mind made up to go out to that theater, it was gone completely. And so now, yes, it was available to rent or to purchase. But I did get a message from Google updating me that they're gonna give it a regular release on to catch on streaming within the next month or so. So people should be able to watch it for either renting it a lot less, because right now the rental is pretty high, but I thought it was worth it. Like I said, the movie was phenomenal, but I think you guys should definitely watch it. And and it was, like I said, directed by Michael Keaton, starring Michael Keaton, and Al Pacino. Even though he kind of phoned in the role, he still brought balance to it. It just all worked out. It was really good. All right, so we're gonna keep it moving. Previously on. Now, this one's a little different than what we normally do. I think you guys are going to appreciate this clip, but let's go ahead and
Scared.
Oh my.
Oh, they're doing the previously thing. Do it again.
Previously.
Smart. No. What the fuck? This is a rag to wrap your ass, motherfucker? But you got crocodiles up in your ass? All right. Let me see what you got here. Since you want to be smart, motherfucker.
Crocodiles? What they doing down there?
I'm wondering myself.
I'm counting your motherfucking money, so lay that fuck down.
Oh, this is horrible. No wonder they never put this joint out like that.
This shit every day. Sometimes they be trying to plant something on a nigga. Fuck clean over you.
Oh my God.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, face down, ass up.
More possible by the minute.
Who money is this? Who's this?
Move the camera, man. Go. Spin the camera around.
This is horrible.
Yes, it's horrible.
It was a threesome we just watched. We got more action than the Challenger movie.
Yeah, so I normally I pick something from the previous episode, but I was like, you know what, the Blackwatch Theater was something else last week.
Yeah, that was
that
wild.
movie was garbage. Oh my God. Y'all
I
remember
think
I
we
was
were
watching
harassed,
another
actually.
movie.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, on the side. She was.
I was like, anyways, y'all could watch this. I'm gonna watch my rom-com.
And it was only 54 minutes, but it was a
Too
rough
long.
54 minutes.
Too long.
Too much of my life. I'll never get it back.
Oh my God. Yeah, so and if you guys aren't familiar with the guests watching, every other Friday we do Black Watch Theater, where we pick something retro and we get into it, and it's normally behind a paywall, but then sometimes we'll find something like this that we can actually show live without any restrictions, and we hope that you guys do tap in, because it's an experience. It's an experience. I'll say that for sure. Iris's face like I don't ever want that experience again.
No.
That's what's up. All right, so we're gonna take a minute to get word from our sponsors, and then we will be back with another 60 and out after.
Okay, Wody.
Hey babes, if you're liking what you see and you want to take me home to see more, then you've got to check out Gamer Girl the magazine. Get up close and personal with me and some of the hottest ladies in the gaming community while we talk about our favorite games, anime, and more. Now available for purchase on GamerGirlTheMag.com. Get your digital or physical copy today and tell them Remy sent you. I'll see you soon.
This episode is brought to you by our Patreon members. Sign up right now, patreon.com/VVC Life. And thank you to all of the patrons that have already signed up and are supporting us right now.
Real reviews, live and unapologetic. New episodes every Thursday at 8 at vvclife.com.
What's up, everybody? My name is Remy, and welcome back to another anime edition of 60 and Out. Today, we're talking about the Grimm Variations. This anime is based on the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, the dark, spooky, twisted take on the classics we all know and love. It follows two brothers, Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, as they're curating their folktales while also looking after their younger sister, Charlotte. As Charlotte starts to notice things in her day-to-day life, the brothers distract her with their stories. And in Charlotte's head, she's playing out these stories where the protagonist isn't always the good guy. There's 6 episodes in the anthology, my personal favorite being Red Riding Hood. I feel like it was the only episode that really hit its mark for me. If you're a fan of the Brothers Grimm, you'll know what I mean. The rest of the episodes just felt like they were missing something. And for that reason, I give this a did not do it for me on the real review scale. But if you want to watch and give it your own opinion, you can stream it on Netflix. Again, my name is Remy, and this has been another Anime 60 and Out. Goodbye.
Amazing talent. I tell you, man.
I can't put my finger on it, but I know what you're talking about.
I'm telling you, big talent. You just want to.
Big talent. You know, gets all of your attention. Gets all of your attention. Shout out to Remy.
You just get lost in it. Like,
I don't know. I feel like I want to get on a boat somewhere and just turn on the motor and just go. You know, just go. I don't know where I'm going.
Gotta have a motor.
You know,
just
life is crazy coming at you, and you just want to get away. You know, just get away. You know.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the news. All right, so we go. Like I told you guys, now that I have the helm, we're gonna do stuff just a little bit different today. With the news, I've decided to just go with 3 stories that I thought were worth a quick discussion or comment. You know, if you got something to throw in, great. If not, but I'm gonna go ahead and share this with you guys. Let's do it like this. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Amazon announces the renewal of Mr. and Mrs. Smith for a 2nd season. However, sources told Variety that the lead stars of season 1, Donald Glover and Maya Erskine, are not expected to return for season 2. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm happy.
Fuck?
I'm happy. She's not. My God. Tell us how you really feel.
Okay. You know what?
Come on.
I'm not going to be that mad about it. It's just you leave us at a cliffhanger. We need to at least know what happened. How did it end? If you're going to bring us new Mr. and Mrs. Smiths, that's perfectly fine. I understand that role is a rotating door. But if you're going to start a new story, we need to at least know what happened to the last one. Did they die? Is it over for them? That's all I need. Just give me that in the first episode so I know where they were left off at, and I'll be fine. If you bring me new people, I'm all right.
What they could not say, just so they may have the possibility to either bring them into a later part of the 2nd season, or reintroduce them at a different point in their life on the third season. You know,
I don't think they should. Like we talk about all the time, we don't
Right.
need closure on something. We all enjoyed the story. We enjoyed what it was for the moment.
I need closure. No,
some
I
of
need
the best
closure.
shows that we watch in movies leaves you on that cliffhanger. So
Or
let's
whatever.
book
This
these
is
like
not the
books.
fucking
Give us a new
Sopranos.
experience.
Need
Give us a new
closure.
experience.
So
I need
Iris
closure.
says she needs closure. I'm actually
need
okay
to
with not
know.
knowing. I'm actually okay
No.
with not knowing.
I'm okay
I
with
need
not
to
knowing.
know.
Well, are you gonna watch to find out? And let me ask
Hell
you this: if they don't tell you in
son.
the first episode, will you keep watching? If they don't
Yes.
answer you,
No, I
Okay.
need to know at least, I'm invested. I'm
Mhm.
completely invested in the show. If it becomes garbage, then of course that investment will die. But
Yeah, we don't like to support garbage, so
no. I would want to see where they're gonna go next with the story and how the seasons are gonna connect.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Okay, all right. Shogun season 2 and 3 in the works at FX. Hulu, the Disney-owned network, is teaming with the estate of the original author James Clavell to extend Shogun for 2 additional seasons. Have you guys given this show a shot?
Yes, I love it. I was very excited that they're doing the second one. It's shot well, follows a nice little thin line of history, and like the production, the music, the intro, the costumes. So if you're in for an experience, if you like movies like The Last Samurai and stuff like that, like I think you'll really enjoy what FX got here.
Okay, how about you, Ars? Have you given it a shot?
Actually, I have not had a chance to watch it yet. I do want to see it, but I have been watching like the history, um, like background on the show itself and reviews and things like that. And one thing that I did find out about it that I really love is the authenticity to the language. Like, of course, we don't speak. You don't speak any kind of like Mandarin at all whatsoever.
Right.
And the funny thing is that they were discussing how to us it all sounds the same, but for those who authentically speak that language, basically they're speaking like an old tongue, like old ancient tongue of it. So it would be like us speaking in English, but trying to, that old Shakespearean type language.
Right.
That's how they're speaking in their language.
Right.
So for some of the younger actors, they said, hey, it's really hard because it's not typical for us, it's not our language of this day and age. And they were speaking that the main gentleman, he's I think one of the older actors. If you pull up, I think you had him like in the bottom corner when you have pulled the thing up. Yeah, that gentleman there on the bottom. He's actually been helping the others with basically speaking.
With their old world dialogue.
Yeah, with the old world dialogue, because they seem to be having issues with it. So it's awesome to see that they actually, for me it all is like whatever, it all sounds the same, but I love the fact that they wanted to keep that authenticity for the time period.
Gotcha. So is it true? I thought I read that the first season really just covered pretty much the everything in the book. Are they trying to go beyond the books to make season 2 and 3, or is there more book to cover? Dad Panther, do you know?
I mean, I don't know. It made me want to go actually read the book, but what it does is, without spoiling anything, it's very similar to shows like Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, The Shield. There's pieces that are there, and you're watching them have these actions where you're like, you didn't know that the XYZ was planned. So they could really go anywhere with this in this role, in the world they've created. They don't have to necessarily stick to the book. They've created something. And like Iris said before, you're watching it full subtitles and you don't feel that you're being bogged down by it. You feel more immersed into it. And with the co-star speaking English, that's kind of like that third or fourth wall that you're knocking down to break through that immersion. So
Gotcha. All right, well let's keep it moving. My last and third topic for this episode. Prime Video dropped a teaser trailer for Cross, led by Aldous Hodge. Extremely confident Amazon has already renewed the series for a second season, and we haven't got a drop of the first season. How do you
Damn.
guys feel about that?
I
It better
didn't know
be.
what the hell this was. I'm supporting it just because it's a brother on it. So I
Okay,
mean,
so Alex Cross is a character that's from some crime novels, crime books, and then different people have played him over the years.
It's a James
Morgan
Patterson.
Yes, Morgan Freeman played him in a few movies, and then Tyler Perry tried it with the movie called Alex Cross, and it was anyway. So here we are now. They're giving us a dark, gritty series with Aldous Hodge, who I actually think is a great actor. So I'm looking forward to it. But
Let's do it.
according to things that I've read, the trailer that they've just recently released, which we will not be watching on this episode, so you got to go find it yourself. I apologize. The trailer that they recently released, people are saying it lets you know why they were confident to already renew it for a second
oh
season.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even want to see the trailer because I was thinking like, oh, is it like Luther? Because I enjoyed Luther.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
gotta check it out. You know, I like to see me a little sexy black man on TV.
Yeah, so we may have to go on like a backlot conversation to go down a rabbit hole of all the Alex Cross movies that are out there, you know, with Morgan Freeman and Along Came a Spider and all this other stuff. We need, you know, just to kind of talk about that character over the years, because a lot of people didn't realize that that Alex Cross is the guy. He's been around for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Around for a minute. All right. So anybody else want to throw anything out there on this subject matter before we move on?
I think it's interesting for the 007 people that you can get other people to carry the torch and tell really good stories, if that's the case.
How about that?
Yes.
How
Seconded.
about that? All right, so I know y'all thought that this section was gone, but it is not.
More money, more money, more money.
All right, so we normally show you guys the top 5 movies of the past weekend and what they made, and I got a nice little presentation for you in order to do that. So, starting with number 5 in the box office, anybody want to take a guess what fell to number 5 or what may have climbed back up to number 5?
Kung Fu Panda.
Ooh, Kung Fu Panda has been hanging in there, but
damn, I forgot
all
about
right.
that.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, it's still hanging in there. So,
But it makes sense.
Yeah, you know, school's out, and you can always take kids and still watch this. 2.6 million, bringing its total to 191.9 million after 7 weeks in theaters. I felt like it's been in theaters longer, but it's actually only been 7 weeks. Number 4 is Tarot with 3.4 million. Bringing its whole total to 11.9 million after only 2 weeks in the theaters. Okay. Number 3, Challengers. Not the hot, steamy, salacious film they wanted it to be, but I still enjoyed it. 4.3 million, bringing its grand total to 37.7 million after 3 weeks in theaters. Another 42% drop off from last week. Number 2 is The Fall Guy with 13.7 mil. Yes, a 50% drop off.
Yes, you called it too. Go back to the last episode. I was like, hey, they spent a lot of 200 million, and he said it's gonna fall.
This is gonna be hard to get it because I knew the Planet of the Apes was take away his viewers. So now you know which one was number 1. But let me give you the grand total. The Fall Guy actually is basically 50 million after 2 weeks. I don't see them making that 200 million, but you never know. We'll see what happens when it goes to streaming. Maybe they'll find a way to make some on Tubi with the advertisement. Who knows? All right. So
with Tubi and the advertising.
And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes came in number 1, 58.4 million opening weekend, which is a pretty decent opening weekend. You know, back in the days, that used to be irregular. If it was less than 60 or 70, they considered it a flop. But now that we're easing back into the movie theaters after COVID, a $58 million opening should definitely be highly celebrated because most of the stuff is opening up at 25, 30 lately. All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your top 5 weekly box office numbers.
Ooh, that's sexy.
Ooh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you.
Appreciate you. And since we just got into the kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, let's go ahead and talk about that. How you guys feel about that?
I think feel good. I feel good.
You think he's like,
I don't know if it was like a trick question. I was like,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
basically just trying to cover up that I didn't know where my button was.
Son, your father, he waits.
Much to learn, much to teach. There are dangers beyond our village.
What a wonderful day!
All right. So I know that unfortunately Iris did not get to see this movie, but I appreciate you hanging in there with us while we talk about it. I promise we won't spoil it. For those who haven't seen it yet, and I didn't play the full trailer, this Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a sequel from a series we begins. They've rebooted since 2014. This is the fourth installment. And this takes place many years after the reign of Caesar. The Mark Wahlberg one is not in relation to this at all. Their first eldest name was Semos. So please do not think, if you haven't seen any of them, don't let our opinion of that movie sway you from getting into this franchise. This was well thought out, and they really put in the science of it, making sure they didn't call them all apes. I mean, they didn't call them all chimps or monkeys. You know, they understood what they were, and they really put in a lot of good effort with the CG and the balance and some good voice acting. So, Iris, even though you didn't see it, could you tell us what your initial impression was when you first found out that this one was coming out?
Yeah, I didn't really have any. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like with the Planet of the Apes franchise in general, not that I don't like it, but I don't know. I've never attached myself to it like many others. Like it's never been like. Don't get me wrong. I love the originals. And I've seen all of them multiple times. But like the new remakes, I don't know. I actually haven't even seen all of them since 2014.
Okay.
Like I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never been like, oh yay, I want to see this. Let's go.
We did do the Movie Lingo review for War of the Planet of the Apes back in when that came out, which was my least favorite out of all of them. But anyway,
I just so basically like with my initial reaction, I was like, oh okay, they're coming out with a new one. That's great.
I was the same way. How about you, Dad Panther? What was your initial impression?
I was excited about this. I enjoy the series, whether you go back to the old school movies or you go to the ones now. It's always a temperature gauge for what's going on in the world, whether it was pharmaceuticals with the reboots, whether it was the old one with the, the nuclear bomb and civil rights type of stuff, or if you go to now, which, without spoiling anything, it hinders on the conversation of religion and some other things. But yeah, I was excited for it.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, I because I was so disappointed with the last one, the War for the Planet of the Apes, I was not excited when I saw the trailer, but I did know that I was going to give it a shot. So, Dad Panther, would you like me to start, or would you like to?
What a wonderful day! I will start. I will start without spoiling anything. With a wonderful day. When it comes to this, I'll peek out my notes here for the pros and the cons. I'll start off with the cons. The cons was that this movie just didn't have the right rhythm or pacing. There was moments where the action was there where it needed to be. The storytelling was where it needed to be at, but they couldn't find a rhythm to kind of give it that flow as versus maybe Dawn of the Apes. I felt like it was too long because of that reason. And it's not to say that over 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours with the running time of this movie. I just think if the pacing was better, I think more people would have sat for that. The sound and the editing on the first half, even when the trailer, or not the trailer, but like the actual title hits the screen, it's a weird delay, but it's not intentional. And it seems like the sound was off for the audio for the first half of the movie, for whatever the reason is. And it would be that with a movie this long, it's unfortunate that it wasn't as smart as it was supposed to be or should have been. With the conversation of this takes place 300 years after the last time we saw Caesar and what happened in that movie, there were some things where you had to say, do these characters have a span of 300 years or 30 years? Like there are just certain things that they just didn't flush out completely, and they did it just to get the story to go. The things that I would say that this movie did right: the setting, the CG, the acting. Kevin, who plays the villain in this one, does such a great job. Noah and some of the other characters do a really good job of just portraying this where you are immersed in this environment. I thought the action was good. I thought the story was a good story. And so it was good to see that. Now, the other thing I pulled from it was this movie, it will teeter on the conversation of gods. And how does it feel to either be a god or be a disciple of God? Race, intelligence, all these were hot topics that they were kind of playing on. Like the people who didn't have intelligence were easy to be swayed. The people without power didn't have the ability, they were easy to be swayed. And the last thing that I would say, which, again, without spoiling anything, it's a message you hear. And because of the previous movies, you know the message. But again, fast forward 300 years, that message is blurred and there's gray involved. And what happens to that message when someone else picks it up?
All right, all right. That's well said, sir. Excuse me, excuse me. Sorry. So I do have to agree. There was definitely a question on, how long do they actually live? How long? I mean, how long? They said many generations after Caesar and things of that nature. But you got people that were right there alongside him, still still out, still trying to spread his message. Things of that nature. Um, Another thing I didn't really like was um, I thought the politics and everything that they fit in. I thought it was done well, but but it was also, it was very heavy. And I know that, as the Dad Panther and I mentioned before, sci-fi has always been a platform to really slide that in. But sometimes I kind of want to get a break from it, but because I mean, if I felt like these movies were impacting people where they were getting that message, and changing things, that'd be different. But sometimes I just feel like, all right, here we go again. It's gonna, fall on deaf ears. I'd rather just give me some crazy fiction and let me just enjoy that, instead of realizing that they are speaking some real stuff that's just not gonna be heard. So kind of took me out of it. But that was just my mood at the time. It did it, nothing really against the movie. I thought it was written very well. I thought the acting was great. I thought that the situation with the story overall, that humans created a virus to try and stop the apes, actually end up working against them. I thought that is something that could actually happen, and it may have already happened, and we just don't get the full story. But there, something that we created for one purpose end up backfiring and impacting humans another way. And most of them couldn't speak. And I think that was the biggest thing about this character, is that she came from a colony or a group where she could speak, and that's why she was so valuable. I want to say more, but everything that I really want to say is going to be more of a spoiler conversation. So I'll just keep saying that I thought it was well done. I stayed invested all the way through. I did not fall asleep. I thought some of the things that we got, I thought they tied in well. I had a lot of questions at first, and then towards the end they started answering it. And I actually feel like, I've heard the rumors that they got like 6 more stories lined up. And honestly, if they're going to keep jumping generations like this the way they set it up, it makes sense that this can be a lifelong battle, a lifelong story, and there's going to be moments of progress and there's going to be moments of setback, and I'm actually looking forward to all of that.
Hmm. Well, if I can just throw something out there, I know you guys already shared a little bit of a spoiler, the fact that she was able to talk, um, and others weren't, or humans were not. I am happy to know that they threw that in there because in the originals, remember, humans could not speak. They didn't really, I don't recall if they really explained how they evolved to not being able to speak, but what made our main protagonist in the movie so important was the fact that he was able to say that historic line, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape," like the fact that he was able to talk and they were like, "Oh my god, a human that can speak." Like I'm so glad that they kept that in the remakes. I like that. I think that is a very good like nod to the originals. The fact that humans couldn't talk and she was valuable because she could.
Dan Panther, did you have something you wanted to say to that?
That might have changed my rating because the impactfulness of that in this new one versus the old one, because when he says that line in that movie, it's impactful because like, wow, you didn't know it. And then you go back to James Cancel Franco and allegedly you go back to him and Caesar in that moment where Caesar says, "I'm home," and him watching that impact of, wow, he's talking and he's proud of Caesar. Like, yeah, you are home, and how that was. And I'm like, did this movie have that moment, that hallmark moment?
They definitely tried to recreate it. I don't know if it hit the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hallmark. I wasn't gonna say all that now, but
That was an Easter egg for a whole nother time period.
All right, so you know what we got to do, and Iris, unfortunately, you won't be able to really chime in here, but the Dad Panther, let's have your rating, sir. Is it classic, good watch, catch on streaming, not doing it for me, oh hell no, or if you ever show me this again, I will slap you?
I'm gonna give it a classic.
I'm not gonna give it a classic. I'm gonna give it, oh my gosh, I'm gonna give it a catch it on streaming.
Really?
It was close to being a good watch. I felt like the timing of it was a little too long. There was some moments, if they're gonna really do 6 or 7 movies, then they've got some time. But it wasn't better than the Dawn of the Apes that came out a little bit ago.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna actually go ahead and give it a good watch. I did feel it was lengthy, but everything they were giving us just made so much sense as far as the agenda of both sides, both characters. That it just so relevant to. Like I said, we gotta have a spoiler conversation so I can really get into what I liked and didn't like about it. But one thing that I can say without spoiling anything that makes this a good watch is that um, it doesn't matter who has the power, it poisons you. Yeah, because when there was a world when the humans were running things, the apes were mistreated because that power and that confidence and that complete that we feel we humans treat everything below them like they took it for granted, treat it like crap because they had the power, and now the world's switched. I mean, it's not much different. Like it's just somebody else's power, and the power poisons you. Power poisons you. So I really walked out of there loving how there was really no true good guy, no true bad guy. Because if the humans did in the future movies end up getting power, they're gonna be shitty. They're gonna be shitty. So that's how I feel. Dad Panther, you want to throw something else out there?
No, it's a cold world.
It's a cold world. It's a cold world. So, guys, this is our show. We will not be watching trailers tonight. I would like to leave the floor open if you guys would like to throw anything else out there, shout outs, whatever, or even your opinions on this little execution that I tried to pull off here. Anybody?
Yes, so I definitely love tonight's execution. I feel like our timing was on point. Okay. I feel like we were able to share enough information without overloading our audience. And I feel like people will enjoy the time frame of this evening's show.
All right. Well, I appreciate
I
it.
second that. I like to try things and see it works, and let the information from the people, the viewers, whoever watching it, hey, listen, this is what they like, this is what they don't like. I think that's awesome. Bravo to you, sir. Keeping us on our toes.
Well, yeah, trying to mix it up. Yeah, let's see what happens next time. And once again, we were not live for technical difficulties. Not our fault. StreamYard's fault. They owe us a month. But anyway, we will be on next week, hopefully live Thursday at 8. And again, in 2 weeks, you guys can catch us for. Actually, next week again, you can catch us on for Black Watch Theater. I didn't have that trailer available. So the Rookie, yes. We were watching The Rookie, and I didn't have that trailer available, so I'm not as professional as I thought I was.
No, you're good. You said no trailers. So
Yeah, you said no trailers.
How about
it is
that?
what it is.
All right, guys. So we thank you guys for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again. You guys be good.